Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lilith's Live Show. So happy to be here with you today as we talk about how to eliminate self doubt and fear. We're going to talk about a lot of things, why we really experience self doubt and imposter syndrome, how to expand your trust in life. We're going to talk about the difference between indigenous healers and Westerners. We're going to go deep into shamanism, soul level healing. And we're going to talk about how to facilitate powerful healing sessions and help your clients get powerful results. And we're going to talk about shadow work and confidence, because all of this has to do with eliminating self-doubt and fear. There's so much that goes into it. I have a ton of notes and I'm super excited to share this with you. Everyone on the recording, please say hi to me. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Make sure to comment lots so I can follow up with you there and then. And hi to everyone who is already joining me here live today. Beautiful to have you. Hi, Sherry. Welcome. How are you today? Let me know if you're here. Say hi to me in the comments. I really look forward to the session because, because this is a really important topic for all of us healers and aspiring healers. So if you have any particular questions about this or anything in particular that you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. I'm really happy to make this as custom tailored as possible. So do let me know what questions you have around this topic and specifically what you experience self-doubt about. So Sherry is here live with me. Who else is? See lots of other people online. Please say hi to me so I know that you're here and let me know how you're doing today. So I've really been seeing a lot of the words like self-doubt and imposter syndrome, they've really been popping up in the group, and I really don't like that because I want you all to step into your power as healers so that you can do the work that you came here to do and help the people that need your help. So that's what we're going to focus on, really how to transform self-doubt and ultimately the fear behind it into confidence so that you can really go out and do your sacred work because the world needs you. But before we dive in, let's talk about why this is so important. Let me know, why is it so important for you personally to really overcome the self-doubt? Jill, hi, welcome. You're cold, your heater's broken. Oh my goodness, that's not nice in winter. Hope you can get it repaired soon. I'm also sitting here with my tea. It is a cold day here as well. Hi, Rosie, welcome. How are you today? Hi, Renata, beautiful to see you. Now, it's really simple why this is so important, this topic, because self-doubt holds you back, right? It keeps you from taking aligned action on your calling that will lead you to create prosperity for yourself, all while serving your people in life-changing ways. So do let me know in the comments, like, what do you know that you need to do, but self-doubt has held you back so far? That's really the most important question. If you we don't only want to just overcome self-doubt, but we also want to be able to take the next step, the next right step for us, right? And self-doubt can really hold us back. So feel into that for a moment. What could that step be for you that you let self-doubt hold you back from until now? Hi, Annelie. Wonderful to have you here. So many of my apprentices are here. That's wonderful. Always love having you in these Facebook sessions. So do let me know. What do you need to do that you haven't done so far because of self-doubt? Because ultimately, after the session, I want you to go out there and do exactly that, right? That's my goal. It's a big goal for us today. I have so much to share with you. So let's dive into that first. Why is it important for you personally to overcome self-doubt? Hello, Dims. How are you today? Nice for you to be here. You're saying feels like I need to be. I feel like I need to be healed completely first in order to help someone else. Yes, that's a limiting belief that many healers have. But the truth is that we're never completely healed because life is never over. This is an eternal cycle that we're in, and because it's never over, we're also never done, right? So there is always a next step. There's always a next level for us to expand into, and that does not mean that we can't heal, that we can't help people, right? It just means that we need to focus on a specific group of people that we can already help, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Jill, self-doubt stops me from doing anything from a business some days because I don't know what the right thing to do is. So you do nothing. Yeah, exactly, right? It keeps us from taking action, right? And what you're also talking about here is not having enough clarity as to strategy. We're also going to talk a little bit about that today. Good. So, why do we doubt ourselves? Think about that for a moment. Why do you feel that you doubt yourself? What's the core reason? Where does it all come from? It's really the first question that we need to ask ourselves here. And the answer is really simple, right? It comes from childhood, right? When we didn't feel fully accepted and appreciated for who we are. And everyone has gone through that to some extent. But now we aren't children anymore, and you being here means that you feel called to being a healer, and that is really the only qualification that you need to step on this path. It's really, really important to remember that. You're being called to step up by spirit, by your own soul. It's your soul mission to serve others as a healer. You are a unique piece of the puzzle. And if we want to see this world coming together as one loving, whole, beautiful picture, then we all need to step up and step into our purpose. Now, there's another reason why we doubt ourselves that doesn't come from our childhood. Let me just check your comments before I go into that. I just need to try and go for having a business as a healer. Well, Annelie, you're in the apprenticeship. That's exactly what we're doing. You're finishing your shamanic training at the moment, and the next step is the business coaching. So I'm really excited. You're almost there. Old stories, says Jill. Exactly. That's the childhood thing, right? I experience a pattern when getting close to good things, then start feeling you don't deserve the rewards. Oh yes, this is a big one. This goes back to self-love, right? This is also a big childhood wound that many of us have. Absolutely. It's a lack of self-love, right? It's probably the deepest inner child wound that there is. Hi Vicky, welcome. Limiting beliefs, you're saying. Exactly, and those come from childhood. And yeah, Renata, this is a really good one. Why you doubt yourself, it feels safe. So self-doubt is an excuse. Absolutely. It's often we don't like going out of our comfort zones, right? It can feel really uncomfortable. But the thing is, only when we do we grow, right? So whenever I know in my business that there's this task that I keep pushing from one calendar day to the next in my calendar, that makes me slightly uncomfortable, that's the one I know I need to focus on. So what I do when I notice that pattern in myself is I reserve a full morning or a full afternoon so I can really dive into that and do some inner practices first so it feels easier. It really hit you now, says Annelie. It is spirit calling me. Yeah, exactly. So another reason why we doubt ourselves now as adults is social conditioning and racism. Like the way that we think about racism normally is that generally it's like black people, right, or Jews or whatever. But there's a real thing with us Westerners going on as well, especially us who want to be healers. Many people just feel that Westerners have no business being healers, and especially not shamans. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced this. Now, I'm really actually super surprised that this prejudice seems to linger on, but there you go. You could be surprised with a lot of things. Obviously, like looking back our history, it is just incredible that people still look for reasons to separate themselves from others, when really we're all the same deep down, right? But the thing is that this thing with shamanism is just, it's based on a false logic that doesn't even make sense if you go just one step deeper. Because the truth is that shamanism is where we all come from. It developed 40,000 to 100,000 years ago, and on all the 5 continents at roughly the same time. All of the 5 that were inhabited back then. So in the West, it's simply been longer that our ancestors have practiced shamanism. That's the only difference that there is to indigenous shamans, but it is still our roots, right? So of course it's amazing when we can learn directly from the elders of our own tribe from a young age onwards and really breathe shamanic culture, right? That's amazing. But there is a good reason that Spirit is calling us Westerners back to shamanism at this time in the history of humankind. And the reason is that we have the resources, we have the technology, we have the ability to create financial freedom. And this is how our world works, right? If more of us heartfelt, soulful people come into a position of social power, then we can influence the world in so many beautiful ways, right? If only we dare rise to that challenge. I mean, the Dalai Lama also said this, right? That the salvation of our world now depends on Western women, and this is just what I feel. So we all have the potential to be great healers, right? All we have to do is find our way back home to ourselves and learn the shamanic ways from a great mentor. So if people give you crap because you're a Westerner, then remind them of the 2 most shamans today, which are Sandra Ingemann, who I've also trained with myself, and Michael Harner, who first brought shamanism to the West. Both Westerners, right? And I trained with a shaman here in Austria, also Westerner, Nora Kröger, who has lived with indigenous shamans in Mongolia, in Siberia, and Brazil. And she really affirms the same thing as Michael Harner, that the core shamanic practices are the same the world over, and we can all access them from within. They're part of who we are. They're part of our human makeup, right? It's just a way to access higher consciousness. So all we really have to do is accept that call to greatness. Now, here's my own example. After I finished my shamanic training, I called myself a shamanic practitioner instead of a shaman, and I got shamed into that by other shamans, right? Other Westerners, by the way. But the thing is that if you find another shaman who tries to diminish you, then you know they're not the real deal, right? Because a healer doesn't go out and makes others feel less than. They have an ego problem and they need to deepen their own training, if you ask me. And they also probably struggle with their own self-worth, right? How we treat others is always a reflection of what's going on inside of ourselves, right? So this limiting belief is just a reflection of how they diminish themselves. Because the funny thing is, I've never heard this from indigenous shamans. I've never heard one of them go out and say that Westerners can't practice shamanism. This prejudice always comes from Westerners themselves, which is just crazy, right? So just try to stay clear of these kinds of people and discussions, and definitely, refuse to be belittled by anyone, okay? So if you feel the calling to be a great healer, then you will become one, if only you dare to believe in yourself and take aligned action and say yes to your destiny. Now, I met an amazing shaman when I lived in Findhorn, the eco-village and spiritual community in Scotland. His name is Kuri Kindi. He's a 9th generation Amazonian shaman. And he gave me so much confidence because this was not long after my shamanic training, and I was overwhelmed as a single mom. I barely found the time to work on people, and I didn't feel powerful at all, right? But he just looked at me and he saw right through me, and he talked to me as an equal. And he told me lots of stories that he doesn't usually tell to others because he knew I wouldn't share them, and because he said that we're the same. And I was so touched by him saying that. And, when he worked on me, I could just feel that we're really the same. He was doing the same things energetically that I was doing in my own healing sessions. And, you know, he might look different, he might speak a different language, but those are just appearances. And the source is the same. And with that encouragement, I mean, I went out and I started to offer group sessions in Findhorn so I could get more done in less time. And you know, in Findhorn, people are used to being surrounded by amazing healers. So I was a little bit shy about that at first, but they came. You know, they weren't put off by the fact that I was in my 20s and um, a young single mom, a Westerner, right? They came, and the healing results that they got in those sessions were amazing. And that gave me so much confidence to start teaching online to reach even more people, right? Now, if I hadn't found that courage, I wouldn't be talking to you today, would I? And you know, a few years from now, I want you to be where I am today and inspiring others with your success story, letting them know that they can do this too. You know, we need to pay it forward and create a ripple effect so that more and more of us will rise into our power and help to heal this world. Who's with me there? Who's with me? Let me check your comments. Wow, so many comments. I love it. I love it. Um, Here we go. I feel I need to be special to become a healer. Yeah, we are all special. That's the truth, right? We're all special. If we weren't a unique piece of the puzzle, then we wouldn't be here, right? There would be no need for us, but we are here, and that means that we are special. Good. That's part of why I felt okay learning from you. When I tell people I'm learning shamanism, I tell them you are from the same area of Europe my family is from. So I'm not appropriating Native American shamanism. Yeah, that's just one kind of shamanism, right? And I really feel that it is much more powerful for us to stay with the core shamanic practices as opposed to learn specific practices that come from a specific shamanic culture. Because when we go into those and we're not from that culture, these practices and rituals aren't very effective. So the most powerful healing work for when you work with Westerners is the one created by Westerners, right? So that's also something really, really amazing. Now, I too felt really called to Celtic shamanism because this is where my roots are in this lifetime. And this is definitely where my home is in shamanism, but I don't teach Celtic shamanism. I teach core shamanism. I teach, you know, holistic shamanism, the core practices are that exist all over in all shamanic cultures. And that's so beautiful because they're accessible to all of us. And from there, everyone that I teach can create their own rituals, their own practices with that foundation that they're called to bring forward, right? Spirit flows through all of us in unique ways, and that's the wonderful thing is we can add something new, but we first need this foundational training. Sherry says, yeah, you feel this so hard. You were also going with shamanic practitioner. You're so right. Call yourself what you will. Like I usually say today, like I'm a shamanic healer and teacher because I see my role more and more as a shamanic teacher, teaching shamanism as opposed to doing healing sessions myself. Although I do them, of course. It's a big part of what I do, but I feel that really my calling is to teach others how to do this so that more and more people will go out in the world and know how to facilitate soul level healing because it's just so important. I love you. Oh, I love you too, Annalie. You're so amazing. Oh, thank you. And so are you. Ah, okay, totally makes sense, says Jill. Good. Okay, so let's move on. Now, so what do we do about that origin of self-doubt and to find the courage and confidence, right? It's inner child healing. That is really the first key, right? When you heal those core wounds from your childhood, then you'll also find that you have a greater tolerance for bullshit. It just won't affect you that much anymore. And even better, you just will attract much less of it, right? So that's why we started the apprenticeship, my 8 months shamanic training with self-healing and inner child healing is an important part of that. Because, you know, I mean, it's just the foundation of everything, right? That we love ourselves and that we aren't defined anymore by the traumas of our childhood, right? That we find back to who we were before all of that happened, right? to that innate magic that we all have. Now, what you can do, a really simple way to start this process today, is to ask yourself the question, what does my inner child need to move past this self-doubt? And it gets more powerful if you're specific on the exact doubt that you have, right? Which is why I asked those questions at the start of the session. So ask yourself, what does my inner child need to move past the self-doubt? And then meditate on it. And it helps if you use a picture of yourself as a child. And then act on the insight. That's the most important thing. Don't make that mistake that I see so many of us spiritual women make, is we have amazing insights and we don't act on them. So they stay up there in the spirit realm. They don't manifest. Okay? So act. Good. Does all of this make sense so far? Let me know in the comments. Anneli says, the shamans I've met prior to Lilith, they all said they were here to wake us up to our own knowledge so that we can speak to the nature here where we are. Yeah, exactly, right? That's all that I feel I do, is I guide you home to yourself, to your spirit team, so that you can learn from them forever, right? All you need are some foundations, and then you will continue your whole lifetime to learn from within, which is just wonderful. Makes sense so far. Okay, beautiful. Good. Okay, so now another thing that makes us doubt ourselves, apart from inner child wounds, is not having complete clarity on our calling, right? That's also what makes us doubt ourselves. And that's why many people fail to become powerful, successful healers, because, you know, they know they're called to being healers, but they don't know exactly how they're supposed to serve, what of their experience and training and abilities flows into their calling, and how that all comes together in a unique process so that you can help your clients heal. And they also don't know who to serve, right? Who their ideal client is. And without that clarity, it kind of is hard to act, right? It's really hard to act. Now, who knows what I'm talking about here? This is really something that's key. I'm going to explain why in a moment. Because the thing is that if you try to help everyone with everything, then you will obviously feel incompetent and doubt your powers, because you can't. You were never meant to bear the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are only asked to do your part. And that is serving one type of person, a former version of yourself who is struggling with what you have overcome, so that you can help them to walk this path with a lot more ease, right? With support. That's why in the apprenticeship, you know, you journey to your shamanic clan to find out exactly what your unique healing mission is. And then in the business coaching part later in the program, we get practical with finding out how that is translated, your healing mission, into a specific offering for a specific type of person that is looking for a specific result. So to recap, right, the two keys that we've just covered to eliminate self-doubt are inner child healing and getting crystal clear on your calling, right? Now, doubt really has its roots in fear. And what is fear really based on? It's always based on a lack of trust in life. Part of you will die, right? It all comes back to death. So you need to honor and accept that and not try to run and hide. But make the most of your incarnated experience. Don't waste it. And the other part is eternal. And the more you focus on that eternal part, the less you will be scared of the cycle of life and death that your body is subject to, right? So whenever you worry that you're not good enough, whenever you're afraid and stressed and overwhelmed, then take a deep breath. There is no failure, because life really never ends, right? So there's only learning, there's only growing. Now look, here you are watching this. You are well. You've been through a lot, but it made you wiser and stronger. You've always been taken care of. Everything you've ever worried about, you know, look where it got you. You're here, right? So many of the fears and the worries and the doubts that we have, they're completely unfounded. And then we create this mess ourselves where really there is nothing to be afraid of, nothing to doubt. It's just all in our minds. It's always good to put our feet back on the ground and realize that, wow, we have a roof above our head, we have food in the fridge, we have a computer or phone to watch this from. That's more than most people in the world have. So that's what I love to come back to when I'm freaking out about something, right? I'm good. So are you. Okay? You're an ancient, eternal soul and a wonderful body. So embrace that truth of this eternal cycle of life and death and celebrate it, right? Make the most of each part of it. So the third key is really developing an unshakable trust in life. And the easiest, fastest, most powerful way to do that is learning shamanic journeying, right? When you see and feel what life really is at the energetic level every day, then you can't help but feel safe. It's just so wonderful to experience ourselves on the soul level and how we connect to everyone and everything else, to have our spirit team at our side, to be able to expand our consciousness like that at will, to raise our frequency whenever we choose to. I mean, that's the greatest power for good on earth, right? And from this place, you get to make a real difference for yourself, for your clients, your children, and everyone else, because you're influencing others much more powerfully than you can ever imagine. Okay? The truth is, you will feel like an imposter as long as you don't first know who you really are deep down on the deepest level. And for that, you need to first discover it, witness your power and uniqueness. So how do we get to that first step where we witness ourselves in all of our power as the love and light that we really are? On shamanic journeys. And that's what you study with me first thing when you start the apprenticeship. I've developed a unique process through the combination with yoga that makes it possible for me to teach journeying safely and efficiently online, step by step. And of course, you will feel like an imposter if you don't know how to help others on the soul level, at the root cause of the symptoms that they're struggling with, that they're coming to you with, right? So the second step is to make sure that you have the right training. There's so many courses and programs on how to become a healer, but really the truth is you already are one. The right training won't pretend to make you into something that you aren't already, but rather it will show you how to let spirit work through you. Because that's all we do as healers. When we create a magnetic presence online, that has to do with our personal power. When we go about manifesting our dream reality, that's all about our personal power. When we want to attract soulmate clients, that has a lot to do with our personal power. But while we facilitate a healing session, it's all about becoming a clear channel for spirit, and that's it. Okay? Your mind isn't involved, your ego isn't involved, right? You're just a vessel. And that's why I place such a high value on letting go in everything that I teach, because mostly becoming a powerful healer is less about learning something, adding something, and much more about dissolving what doesn't serve you, right? Old beliefs and habits that aren't really part of who you are. They're just baggage from your past. And all you have to do is let it all go so that you can step into a brighter, purer version of yourself. And that's why we have the monthly full moon rituals as well in the apprenticeship, right? It's a really powerful way to let go and have the heightened energy of the group to help you see powerful results fast. Like the last full moon ritual that we had was a womb clearing and healing. It was just so powerful and beautiful for everyone, right? So there's so many ways in which we gather baggage, and it's really powerful to learn how to let that go. It's so liberating. And then it's easy to access spirit and let it flow through you. And that is what creates powerful healing results when we work with spirit and we don't stop at the body, the thoughts, or the emotions, but we go all the way to the soul level. Okay? Good. Let me know if that makes sense before we go into more about how to make sure that your clients see powerful results from working with you. Wow, goosebumps, says Renata. I'm glad I'm saying the right things. Sometimes I feel like my job is just that, to inspire you all, so that you can actually see who you already are, how amazing you already are. Yeah, Renata, you don't have the full clarity yet. Of course not. You've just only started the apprenticeship. You're still in the self-healing part. And in the shamanic training, you're going to get so much more clarity. And then we're going to back that up with the business coaching. Jill is saying, I'm having a hard time figuring out who, partially because I hear people saying who I should serve as a death doula, and then it's not going that direction, so I'm going back and forth. You're also still not at the business coaching part. So the apprenticeship is really going to help you a lot with that. And the thing is, this is a process that we can't shorten. This is something that comes with time and experience, and everything we do in the apprenticeship leads you to finding out who and how, right? But it is an inner process, and starting with yourself, with your own healing journey, that's really the foundation we need for it. So don't worry, that clarity is gonna come soon enough. Okay, now, what does a healer need to help their clients see powerful results? A healer needs to know how to facilitate soul level healing. So how does that work? All we do in shamanism is reestablish the balance that was lost. As we go through life, we experience soul loss and power loss. That means we split our souls during traumatic events, and these soul parts attach to other people. Okay, so we need to get those back. And that's done through soul retrievals in shamanism. And we also give away our power to others, although we don't do it consciously, obviously. And that's what we get back through power retrievals. And then we also need to let go of the energies and soul parts that we have attracted from others, and that we do through energy and soul part extractions. So we get back what's ours, we let go of what was never really ours to begin with, and then we are whole, right? Fully steeped into our power, sovereign souls. And in the apprenticeship, you don't only learn how to do this for yourself, but you also learn how to facilitate shamanic healing on others. So in a shamanic healing session, you as the healer enter a trance state by listening to the shamanic drum and following certain energetic pathways that I will teach you. That will lead you into the shamanic realm, the energetic reality of our universe. And from there, you're joined by your spirit team who dismember you. That means they dissolve your ego, and then spirit, in the form of your power animals and spirit guides, can work through you in really powerful ways to help others heal. Okay, so it's not about your power, like I said before. You have the whole might of the universe, right? All you have to do is become a clear vessel. That's all. That's why we talk in shamanism about becoming the hollow bone. It's just flowing through us. So now that you've created that incredible foundation, how effective the healing will be, it depends on your clients and how open they are to receive from you. So the question of what you can do and you can't do isn't possible anymore, right? It doesn't even, it's not a valid question anymore, right? Once you are a clear channel for spirit, then everything is possible. So does all of this make sense? Do you have questions before I dive into how you can make sure that your clients can receive fully from you? Checking your comments. No questions coming in so far about this. Let me know if you have any. Let me know if this makes sense. So our job really, once we have that training, right, is to make sure that our clients can receive from us all the way. So this is all about how to work with clients in a powerful way. So There's lots of ways to ensure that. There's five most important ones, right? Apart from how you set up a session and everything, right? How you structure a session. That's something I teach in the apprenticeship as well. But here's 5 things that are really important. So that our clients can receive fully from us, we don't offer single sessions. I don't do that. The only people who I sometimes do a single session for is my apprentices, because they are right in the middle of their own healing journey anyways. So I witness them all the time, so I can powerfully help them in just one session. But I also do that. I do that rarely. Normally, the smallest package I have is 3 sessions. So we want to really have space and time to work with people. Otherwise, of course, this is going to be superficial, even if we work on the soul level, right? Because we, first of all, we really need to understand where they're at and what they actually need and want from us. Then we need to have time and space to follow up after the session, right? And that's why what we do in the apprenticeship is create a signature offering for your ideal client, right? So we really want to find out who can you best serve, who do you most love to work with, and what offering is really serving them, right? I would have never come up with the apprenticeship if I hadn't asked myself that question, how can I best serve? Because the apprenticeship was a suggestion from the women I was teaching shamanic journeying to. They were like, hey, I want to learn how to do this for others. This amazing thing that I've learned from you how to do for myself. Can't you offer shamanic training? I was like, what? I didn't see myself doing that. But it's what was needed of me, right? And I rose to the occasion. I created that program and it's been amazing, right? So you want to find what that is for you, right? What that journey is that you have completed in your life that you would just love to help others with, because you know you can make it easier, more beautiful, more enjoyable for them through your support. And that's a specific group of people. It's not just anyone, right? So for Jill, if she wants to be a death doula, well, then she's gonna either work with people who are dying themselves, or um, with the loved ones of people who are going through death, right? This is who she works with. And then over time, she's going to find a specific group of people. Maybe they're going through an illness, maybe it is sudden bereavement that they're dealing with, whatever it is, right? It's going to be more specific. And that's how you avoid imposter syndrome, because you're going to specialize in something and you're going to get really good at what you do for that specific group of people, so that you become known to that group of people, and they're going to be so happy that you specialized in them, right? And that you don't offer just generic healing work that anyone could do, right? This is what's going to really distinguish you from a lot of other healers. And that's also the second thing, how we help them fully receive from us, is that's why we start working with people one-on-one. I see so many people who think that group programs are the best way to serve people and make money online, but it's not true at all. Group programs only make sense when you already have an established following. When you're new, it's really best to start working one-on-one with people, and not just because you're going to make more money, but also this is how you can best serve people, right? Because you can custom tailor each session to what they need, and this is how you perfect what you do. This is how you get really good. So it's really a win-win. And the third thing that we need to do to make sure that our clients can fully receive from us is charge them, right? It's of no use to offer free sessions or offer sessions on donations on a donation basis. I did that for a long time, and the healing results that people got were much less powerful. And it makes a lot of sense now looking back, because they weren't fully invested with their own energy, because their energy is flowing where the money is going, right? I mean, this is easy to understand, right? If you buy a 50 € course and it's a DIY course, you might be really excited about it for a week, and then you just stop doing it because no one holds you accountable, right? And you didn't pay a lot of money, so you're like, okay, never mind, right? I'm just going to forget about that. But it's a shame because you don't get the result. But if you invest 500 € a month in doing a program, well, you're going to show up for that, right? You've made a commitment, so you're going to do it. This is how you get results. Same thing with your healing, with your clients, right? In your healing business, they need to invest in themselves so that they can allow themselves to fully receive from you. It is an energetic exchange. That's how the universe works, okay? So it is a kindness to charge your worth. And the fourth thing that we need to do to help them receive from us fully and experience powerful healing results is we need to help them relax before we start working on them, right? We need to help them open up their energetic system so that we can go deep. Lots of different ways that you can do that depending on what you've learned. And the fifth thing that's really important is we need to, after the healing session, tell them what they can do to help the healing process integrate, right? Once we've done a deep healing with someone on a soul level, it's not, they're not just gonna experience that change right away, right? This is something that's gonna integrate over time. This is something that's gonna become more powerful over time. So we need to tell them how to do that, how to integrate, right? And again, there's lots of ways to do that, and it really depends on the training that you have. This is also something we do in the apprenticeship. Like, I don't just look at what you've learned with me, I look at everything that you bring to the table, all the other trainings that you did, all the other experience and skills that you have, and we find out, okay, so how can you use those to work with your people, right? So you bring something unique to the table that no one else is offering. So let me know if that makes sense. Okay, Rosie says makes sense. Wow, again, says Renata, I appreciate the explanation of how shamanism works. I'm glad it was helpful. I know I'm talking a lot, sorry. I want to give you tons of value in those sessions. I really enjoy this time here with you. So let me know if you want me to expand on anything that I said, if anything isn't clear, if you want to know something more specific about something. Now, to recap. So the first key to eliminate self-doubt and transform it into unshakable confidence is the inner child healing, right? The second one is crystal clarity on your unique healing mission. The third is expanding your trust in life. The fourth is having the right training and making sure your clients can receive from us fully, right? And then there's the last key, which is to go out and actually do your work. Okay, only when you start working with clients and discover how to best serve them will you be able to co-create amazing healing results with them and for them, and that will make that feeling of being an imposter go poof once and for all, right? It's when you see the results of your work. Okay, so all of these keys are covered in the Shamanic Yoga Apprenticeship. So if you want a one-stop solution to really accelerate your own healing journey, to learn shamanic journeying, to study shamanic healing, and to get to practice your art live in our practice sessions, so you feel confident, and you also want to receive holistic business coaching so that you can be financially successful from the start, then you're in luck, because I am opening the apprenticeship again this month for a limited number of new apprentices, 7 to be exact. 7 of my apprentices have just graduated in January. I'm so proud of them. So I have 7 spaces. We start on the 27th of February, and this time it is through invitation only. So you can't just click a link and join. So if you want a chance at one of those spaces, then hop on a chat with me. I want to get to know you. I want to make sure this is right for you. You have the link in the description above. I'm also going to pop it into the comments for you. Here you go. Now, the most amazing thing about joining in February, which is never ever going to come again, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, is that you get an amazing free bonus this time. I mean, you get lots of bonuses, but this one is really special. It's a unique chance that will never come again, because I'm only going to do it live once. This is you get free participation in the Goddess Initiation live for free. It's worth 1,111 euros. It's a 2-week extended ritual. It's an online retreat that will help you to really step into your next level of purpose and power and prosperity before you even dive in with the apprenticeship. Now, everything that we've talked about today, the self-doubt, the fear, that's all part of your shadow, right? And shadow work is one of the most powerful things that you can do to face your fears and doubts and bring them to light. And often all we need to do is face ourselves, all of us, right? All the ugly truths. Find acceptance for that. for them to transform back into what they originally were before you were told that it's not okay to be angry or wild or special, before you got so afraid of not being perfect, of being different, so scared that you wouldn't be loved and accepted by your family, so that you started to stuff everything about yourself that seemed unacceptable down into your subconscious, okay? And the most powerful way to do shadow work is, of course, on a shamanic journey, where we can literally travel our own subconscious by descending our waking consciousness down into the lower world of the shamanic realm. And this is exactly what we will do during the goddess initiation, so that you can shed what no longer serves you and then emerge as a goddess, as the goddess you really are, and fully embrace your next level in the ascension process that we'll finish the retreat with. Now imagine this is going to be your first 2 weeks in the apprenticeship. Imagine what that will look and feel like before you even dive into the program. It will be a really, really powerful start to a life-changing journey. Now, like I said, I only have limited spaces, so get into my calendar so that we can have a chat next week to see if this is the right next step for you. I want to get to know you to make sure that this is the right fit, which is just as important to me as it is to you, because we are going to work together for 8 months and I want to be able to help you get amazing results, right? Now, I want to quickly speak to something else that's been coming up for some of you in the group before the end of the session, which is how to overcome the fear of not selling, right? Doubting that we will make enough money. Now, this is actually really much less complex to overcome than you might think. It's really, really easy. All you need is to have a tried and true strategy to follow and implement, and someone to hold your hand as you create your business. And you have that in the apprenticeship. What I see most people making the mistake is going out and buying a DIY course on, how to get your first client in 30 days or something like that, right? But the problem is that this person hasn't created the program with you specifically in mind, right? So the strategy is probably not going to be a perfect fit. It might get you a step further, but definitely not going to get you from A to Z, right? If you want to get from A to Z, then you really need to have someone at your side who is actually looking at you specifically and what you need, right? That's why in the apprenticeship, in the business coaching part, you have a strategy that you learn by yourself, but then you come onto the live sessions with me and I help you implement it for your business, right? For your healing business, because that's really important. Okay, and then all you need is consistency, right? Is really to take your time, implement something, be consistent. That's the only way you're gonna see results. Okay, so commit and be consistent. And the other amazing thing you have in the apprenticeship is an amazing community of other women. You have me to hold your hand, you have Barbie to hold your hand, and you have the other women who are in the program. And trust me, that is the single most best confidence booster there is. Because if you feel you are alone on this journey and you don't have someone who really understands and can guide you to, can really feel what you're going through, right? And who you can share with, and you aren't surrounded by a supportive network to cheer you on, then you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna get discouraged. You're probably gonna go down a different path, and that's not the path to your destiny, right? That's not the path to fulfillment. That's not the path to purpose and prosperity. Okay? But if you have other like soul women to witness your journey, to cheer you on when things get tough, and to celebrate your successes, it is gonna feel like a breeze, a magical breeze. So if this resonates, if your heart says, oh my goodness, this is what I need, then click on a link, check out the program, schedule a chat with me. I really look forward to getting to know some of you better next week. I think this week my spots are already booked out. Good, let me check your comments before we end the session. Let me know if you have any questions before we end. Okay, makes sense, says Renata, that was great. Okay, beautiful, love hearing that, Jill. Good. Yeah, so this is what I'm here for in this group, right? It's to serve you. So always let me know what you're struggling with, and I'm always happy to help. Good. That was it from me today. Everyone on the recording, please make sure to comment as you go through so that I can follow up with you. Anneli says, that's just so amazingly generous. What a start. Wish I could start the apprenticeship again now. But I'm already in and loving it. Such a life changer. Glad I was brave enough to follow my heart. That led me to you, Lilith Moon. Aww. And Barbie, yes. You are the best. Love having you and all these amazing women supporting me on my journey. Aw, thank you, Anneli. I'm so happy. It's such an amazing experience to have you and women like you in the group and seeing you all grow. I mean, I feel so grateful. Like when we had the celebration the last week of the last group of my apprentices, 7 of them were finishing at the same time. And oh my goodness, we all cried in the session. It's just like, can't express what this community is like. It's just so beautiful. Good. Thank you very much, says Rosie. You're so welcome. Renata says, thank you, Lilith. I feel empowered. Oh, I love hearing that. Looking forward to how my journey is going to unfold with the apprenticeship supporting me and looking forward to seeing you again. Love the energy of our lovely group. As do I. As do I. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Lots of love to all of you and bye for now. Mwah.